wanted to talk to you about Ellen DeGeneres, and it's clip number 11. Here were some of her comments related to healthcare and President Obama's responses to the healthcare appearance, if you will, and Obamacare as we know it. Is it ready to roll? Roll it.
If you don't have health insurance right now, you should go on healthcare.gov, and especially all the moms out there who may have young people, 26, 27, don't have health insurance, but they think they're invincible and nothing's ever going to happen to them. You know, what we've said is you never know what life is going to throw at you. You can, at this point, get health insurance for $100 a month or less, in some cases less than your cell phone bill or your cable bill, and it gives you some financial security. It gives moms some mental security that their kids are going to have decent care. The website is now working. Healthcare.gov actually works the way it's supposed to, and I hope that people take advantage, because if you don't sign up before March 31st, then you won't be able to sign up again until November. And I want to make sure that everybody has this opportunity now.
It's doing very, very well. I think it's surprised. It had a rough start, but you've got 5 million people that have signed up so far, which is an enormous amount of people that have signed up. So it's successful. People are starting to applaud here. I think that everyone's very grateful that you did this, and I think it is important for people to sign up and to it's just better to be covered. You just never know.
Number of clips from that interview in a montage. Tell me, Chris Woodward, why is the president going on Ellen?
Because he wants to be in comfortable territory, and also because he wants to be our popular-in-chief versus a commander-in-chief. Okay.
If I'm sitting there and if somebody comes on my show and normally it's a hard news topic,
yeah,
don't you have a responsibility to ask a follow-up? I mean, what questions would you have asked? You've heard the president speak. If you were the third party there, if you know, Ellen and President Obama and journalist Chris Woodward, what would you have said?
Yeah, my tablet just chimed in there. Well, a couple of questions. Okay, you went from 4.2 million to 5 million in a matter of 2 weeks when the Associated Press said you needed a lot of enrollees to get close, okay? 5 million is nowhere close to the 7 million that Kathleen Sebelius was quoted on more than one occasion, including on your show, as saying 7 million was success. Obviously, it's 2 million short of that success. And cheap plans is debatable. Even if you're getting a $23 a month plan, as some people are claiming in ads that we know Dan Celia has seen. We had a story to that effect today with Twyla Brace chiming in. You're paying for those plans somehow, because if you get a $23 a month plan, you're getting a subsidy. You, if you have a job, are paying taxes. Those taxes are going towards things like subsidies. A lot of other people that work are paying taxes that are going towards things like subsidies. It is not quote unquote cheap. And it's not coverage. It's healthcare insurance.
Chris, if we want to learn more about the numbers of ObamaCare, Affordable Care Act, whatever you want to call it, what should we do?
Go to basically the internet is your friend. If you want our coverage with some of the people
you've been doing some coverage, pretty serious coverage.
There is not enough time in a day. In the Old Testament, when God makes the sun stand still, I need God to do that most days for me, so I can I can leave here and feel like I covered enough.
You did cover a lot tonight. We appreciate it. We held you overtime. We appreciate it. We're going to go to Seton Motley now, but I got to tell you, Chris Woodward, love you, brother. Have a great weekend.
You too.
What's your Twitter?
At AFNC Woodward.
There you go. Now we bring on the president of less government. That just has a great ring to it. I mean, it always does, but I oftentimes think immediately of Seton. Now I just think of the president of less government, a government that's doing less. That would be great in so many areas. Seton, welcome back.
Thank you, except I'm failing bitterly. There's more government everywhere we look. I'm not doing my job.
Hey, Seton, for many of us who hear about the internet being given away, what is this all about? They said the president gave away the internet and it could have national security, personal security. I mean, we've been dealing with that for some time now, but What does it mean when people are saying President Obama gave the internet away?
Well, the Department of Commerce has the NTIA, the National Telecommunications and Information Agency, and they have a contract with ICANN, which is the naming entity. When you buy a domain name, if you own, when you bought nothingbutTruth.org, that was purchased through ICANN. They're a non-profit entity that sells the domain names. This is not a new thing for the NTIA and the Department of Commerce. We've had this contractual relationship since 2000. Now, our current contract expires in September of 2015. At that point, we don't know what happens. And as I told Chris when I spoke to him earlier this week, this is the adult version of musical chairs. You don't want to give up your chair until you know where the next chair is and what it is. And we don't know that. So my question is, why are we going to do this when it so obviously and effectively has worked for the last 14 years? Why are we going to change things if we don't know what post September 2015 looks like? I keep saying there are so many things in the world that are broken. Why are we trying to fix this? This isn't broken. Now, we spoke, I think, a while ago about the UN vote. The International Telecommunications Union, the ITU, is the internet wing of the UN, and Russia and China were pushing to have a vote to basically reduce dramatically our role of the internet and increase the UN's, which would be fabulous, and I'm being facetious. And fortunately, that vote failed in December of last year. This is voluntarily giving up a large chunk of what they wanted and failed on just 3 months ago. So I don't see any advantage to this. I see the potential for great disadvantage for free speech, et cetera, et cetera. Because you can imagine if Russia or China or somebody like that gets authority over what domain names are used and what domain names are allowed, it very quickly starts to become a problem.
Why on earth would he do it?
The same reason he does all kinds of things. I don't think he likes America. I think he's been trained and brainwashed to not like America, and this is a way he wants to diminish our presence on the world stage, and this is another way to do that.
And the idea, and not to go too into the worldview or the mindset or whatever it may be.
We don't like crawling around in people's heads, especially the left, because trying to think like them hurts.
Yeah. Wow. You got a lot of gems tonight, brother. Tell me this, but is it the idea that if everybody nobody is better than somebody else, no culture is better than somebody else, so you could have a culture that's based on individual liberty and freedom and rights coming from God and protected by the government on loan in a sense, versus a government that likes to hang homosexuals from cranes? And there's the same.
Obama said early on, I believe in American exceptionalism, just like the French believe in French exceptionalism.
Right.
And the Belgians believe in Belgian exceptionalism. Well, that's fine to a point, but the French now are taxing every rich person. The French are taxing every rich person, out of their country. Mm-hmm. And as I said, so my uncles who sent me the CBN piece, France is French for California. And so if we're emulating these people, for the most part, it's not very good.
No, it's not. Hey, what do you make of Nancy Pelosi and the Democratic Party dealing with the Florida defeat, and still they seem to be saying, okay, well, are we going to try to fix ObamaCare? It's not ObamaCare. What do you make of this? Are they in a place where they don't know where the strategy's going? Because they seem to be going back to
the strategy. It's a matter of the messaging.
Okay.
The test run for their 2014 messaging was that race down in Florida, the Alex Sink Democrat versus David Jolly Republican, and David Jolly won. Their message is basically to quote Jesse Jackson regarding affirmative action, mend it, don't end it. And this is a teachable moment for Republicans, too. Mend it, don't end it didn't work. David Jolly stuck to, I want to repeal it, tooth and nail, root and branch, whatever you want to say. And so to the point where the D.C. establishment Republicans, the Friday before the election, tried to throw him under the bus. Did you see that article in the Politico by any chance?
No, but I heard the story. Tell me something. Is that true? The establishment did attempt to sink him. No pun intended.
To do a mend it, don't end it message, and he said, "No, I'm not going to do that."
Wow.
And so Friday before the Tuesday, they thought he was going to lose, so they started running for the hills, in print, in Politico, and Jolly won. So, it's just repulsive. And as I said to a congressman, a friend of mine, who was sort of defending the NRCC, but not really, the D.C. Congressional Committee in charge of getting Republicans elected to the House, I said, did any Tea Party leader come out the Friday before the 2012 presidential election and say, you know what, we're backing away from Mitt Romney? He's not conservative. We didn't like him. He wasn't our guy. We don't think he's going to win, so we're going to back off. The answer is no, they did not. So who's got more integrity, the Tea Party or the establishment in D.C. Republicans? So the point is, Jolly did the right thing. The end it, don't mend it, not mend it, don't end it. Because the problem is, if we start doing, let's keep it in place and just fix it, we sound just like the Democrats, and then where's the delineation on the number one issue going into the 2014 election?
Tell me, is this an attempt? There's so much I want to ask you about regarding Joe Scarborough, but obviously you've seen the puff piece they did to promote his book and also the possible presidential road. Is Joe Scarborough going to be the huntsman of 2016?
With less votes, yes.
Okay, so he's just there.
Less votes than Huntsman did.
Yes, that's tough to do.
And Huntsman consistently polled within the margin of error. So yes, if Scarborough runs, it'll be a. I live in obviously I'm in the D.C. market.
Yes.
They dumped a friend of mine on radio here, Chris Plant, from 9 to noon on WAM.
No way!
To replace him with Scarborough, and that lasted like 2 months.
Yeah.
And the ratings just were excruciatingly bad because I look at the MSNBC ratings juggernaut and say I want them on radio too. And so they quickly dumped
Scarborough and brought him back.
Him with Chris Plant again.
Yes.
So yes, if he runs, it's going to be a really pathetic performance in my estimation.
Hey, you had some great articles this week. I will post them with your permission on the Facebook.
Please,
thank you very much for doing that. And always, Seaton, great to be with you. Thank you for taking the time, brother.
See you, man. Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Take care. President Less Government, Seaton, Motley, Crane, Durham's Nothing But Truth.